So one of the reasons Insomniac Games has become such a popular developer for the most recent time, especially with their Marvel Spider-Man games and Marvel Spider-Man 2 games, and even games over the years like Ratchet and Clank, is due to the fact that they communicate so well with the fans and they just listen to what the fans want and even, again, use it to making their games. I think it's one of the biggest factors on why Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Marvel Spider-Man were so great, is because they took fan feedback and they took, certain fan criticism and made their games a lot better. Again, they listen to the fans with practically everything. For example, Insomniac even went out recently and basically said, look, we're going to listen to the fans, and if they want a Venom game, we'll pretty much be getting a Venom game. And of course, the fans spoke up, and it looks like that game might even be development at this stage. But again, other things they do really well is they actually hint at things and keep the fans really, really interested. And we saw this really recently with the Spider-Man director, aka the games director of Insomniac, actually go on a podcast, I believe with IGN, and he was asked about Matt Murdock and what actually happened to him in Marvel Spider-Man 2, because if you actually go to the original location of where Nelson and Murdock was, the attorneys at law, and where their sign was in the original game, that sign is actually no longer there in Marvel Spider-Man 2, and I think this made a lot of fans really skeptical of what's going on. Did Insomniac just forget to do it? Were they more focused on putting proposals in their game like they did with the first game, just for that proposal to be an absolute fucking train wreck? I mean, let's be honest here, it is still, look, I want to say it's funny, but that can happen to absolutely anyone. Look, I don't want that to happen to me in real life, but yeah, goddamn. Look, we're getting sidetracked on this video, but they actually asked him, well, what happened to the sign? Did you just forget to put it in? And he gave an extremely interesting response that you don't see many game directors do. Usually they brush it off and kind of throw it in the toilet like I don't even know, a used tissue or something from a bad night out. But essentially he just said, he gave a little smirk and he said, well, you guys just gonna stay tuned. And look, I think this has really interested a lot of people. It's had a lot of people theorizing online, well, what does this mean, of course? And it's a literal dead set given hint that he's saying that, look, something is coming to do with Matt Murdock, something is coming with Daredevil. Again, if you don't believe it by the body language that he displays, then you're probably more useless at reading it than fucking Sheldon Cooper was in Big Bang Theory. But look, something is obviously happening. I think there's two big options here. I'll start off with the unlikely one, but likely in the sense he could still show up, maybe just not with a big role, and that's of course Marvel Spider-Man 3. Again, there has been a push by fans for a minute now for Insomniac to include certain Avengers in their games. I think in Marvel Spider-Man 2, a lot of people thought we were going to get Doctor Strange, we were going to get Wolverine, especially considering they're making a Wolverine game, and then we were going to get Daredevil. And in fact, not only are Insomniac making a Wolverine game, but they did not even tease him or hint at him in this, of course, Marvel Spider-Man 2 game. They didn't even show Doctor Strange. They showed a letter of, again, spoiler alert, they showed a letter from Wong one stage through the game, and of course, Daredevil was nowhere to be seen. In fact, Matt Murdock was technically mentioned less in this game than he was in the first game. Again, Insomniac don't seem to necessarily have a push to put these Avengers in the big games, but that doesn't mean they might not be used for certain DLC, and this has had a lot of people theorizing that Matt Murdock or Daredevil could somewhat be used in Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC. Now, how would this, come to fruition is really obviously a big question. Some people are saying that maybe Peter needs a lawyer, but then you're kind of treading on what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home, where of course Peter temporarily did speak to Matt Murdock in that, of course. Again, some people were saying Miles Morales, but I really don't know. I wonder if something such as a street crime issue is going to happen that will involve maybe Matt Murdock showing up as Daredevil at some point. In my opinion, I do think there is a big chance we see him as DLC. I don't necessarily know if he will be like the main character of DLC, of course. I think a lot of people have been speculating about that. There's definitely a couple different directions they can go. Again, in the first game, we had a DLC of Silver Sable, we had a DLC of Black Cat, and a DLC of another character I've just forgotten. Look, it's 11 PM at night, and I can't really be remembering who was the DLC villain of my PS4 game from 4 years ago. But look, here we are. Again, I think with everything that Insomniac has on their plate right now, I have been public on this channel to say that I don't think the DLC is going to be as big as what it was in Marvel Spider-Man. I could very be wrong with that, but I think we might get at least 2 packs. Most likely not the 3 packs like we got last time. We're probably going to get 2 packs. Not the wrapper, of course. I'm talking about just DLC packs. So that's definitely what it's going to be about. I think Carnage could obviously be one of the packs' big focus point. Another pack could definitely be a big focus point on Silk, aka Cindy Moon. Will we get to see her character maybe evolve in this? Will we get to see some backstory and whatnot? That could actually go across the 2 ones. And look, maybe Daredevil does get his own DLC, but the main focus of it might be about Street Crime. Again, Street Crime was pretty influential in the DLC with Marvel Spider-Man. Maybe they go that direction again with this second one. It would be really tough to say, but look, with how everything's going on with Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage, in Marvel Spider-Man 2, we do know that he has a big cult going on, and they've pretty much only somewhat gotten stronger with him now possessing a symbiote. So maybe, who knows, his cult becomes too much to handle for the Spider-Man, and maybe it's they need to seek out someone who's a professional with more dealing with this underground type of street crime. And I think Daredevil is legitimately the greatest of all time, Tom Brady-esque at doing exactly that. So maybe that's how, or maybe they are investigating the Flame and investigating that cult, and Daredevil gets involved somehow. There's definitely a lot of different options they can go with this, but it looks like Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock, will have somewhat of a future in Insomniac Games' Marvel Universe, especially with how, of course, the director did kind of give us that tease and hint on the podcast. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. What do you guys think they're going to do with Daredevil in potentially the next game, or will he be DLC? I'd very much like to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my sports channel and my IRL/rolling channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.